Let's make your job easy.
What was previously described as a hoodoo venue for the West Coast Eagles, the MCG laid witness to a resilient and grinding 22-point victory against a much-informed Collingwood outfit, making that 3 straight victories at the home of football, with, of course, a mouth-watering derby on the horizon. Welcome to another episode of Eagle Review, proudly sponsored by Kennards Hire. They're doing online orders now. Visit kennards.com.au. Ben Roberts, don't fear the ground. No. All is well at the MCG. That's the last 3 against the Pies. The size and the space seems to be better suited to our style of play now. And the 11-point first quarter lead from the Magpies soon dissipated as the match wore on.
Yeah, well, if you include the qualifying final win, that's 4 on the trot against the Pies all up. So 3 of those at the G, 1 at Aptus, that's 4 in a row. They've found a nice groove. Yes, they use the space, the way we use the football now and use our kicking and marking and uncontested, keep the ball off style sort of thing. That works really well when you've got a lot of space to use. So absolutely the ground works in our favour now, and never had any fears, but now they play it beautifully. It's absolutely lovely to watch. Very different style of game. Like Collingwood like to run a handball. How about this one? 133 handball receives for the Pies compared to 98 to us, which means they're trying to run it through because they know if they slow it down too much, we can set it behind the ball, because what they don't want to do is go long down the line, because we got guys that can mark it. Have a look at this. When Collingwood did go long down the line, they only retained it 29% of the time. So they want to avoid that and they want to try and run it through, and that's where the handball receives come into it. And we ran away with it. I think the middle 2 quarters where it was run and won. 6 goals to 3 in the second quarter, 3 goals to 1 in the third. That's where you really put the foot down and get that lead leading in the last quarter.
That's right. The dangerous small forwards of ours really took over, I felt, in those quarters.
Absolutely. Liam Ryan, Cripper with 4. Absolutely. We'll talk about him later. Liam Ryan was dangerous. Petruccelli was dangerous, particularly early.
Well, Liam Ryan had a record pressure axe for the club, didn't he? 28?
28. So that's the most everyone's recorded in a game. For the West Coast Eagles.
For a 20-game player, that is unreal.
Yeah, big game, good place to do it. Petruccelli, geez, he's dangerous. So, mate, I reckon if he, sometimes he's got to just work on finishing off, but if he can round that part of his game right up to where his speed and, geez, he's dangerous.
He'll be unstoppable.
He'll kick 3 a game.
The inclusions are where it gets interesting here. All 3 different storylines. We'll start with Josh Rotham making his debut for the West Coast Eagles, albeit under some interesting circumstances. Will Schofield had gastro, was initially picked, I do believe, so having kids paying dividends already. But he looked right at home. Joshy Rotham can play tall, small, was absolutely packing himself at the hotel and on the bus on the way in, you could tell, but he held his nerve well
together. Didn't look
together.
out of place, looked very calm and collected. Nice intercept mark early in the piece.
Nothing gets the nerves settled like one of those.
That
was a guaranteed mark and goal for Collingwood.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the tackle on Mason Cox, did the grunt work with the tackle and turned it over there. So did some nice things early, and that relaxes. Well, I'm saying that relaxes when you play your AFL debut.
Presumably.
Presumably that relaxes you, and you can get into it. Certainly didn't look out of place.
Unbelievable scenes. MCG grand final rematch for a debut, but then Cripper and Gaff come in, and they are arguably in the top 3 for best on of that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Cripper was real good. He would have been very happy with 4 goals. Coming straight back into it from that toe injury. Gaffy, I thought it was good to throw him straight in the middle, get him around the ball. Got a touch very early, got knocked over. Welcome back, Andrew, early on the piece, but had a nice amount of the football just to get him into it, and even though it was a hack kick forward, just to relax him as well.
Well, it was one of his 13 contested disposals, and that was leading for the game. Would you ever think Andrew Gaff is going to lead the contested possession count for a game of footy? Probably not back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, Cripper with 4.
And his pass to Hickey was sublime.
Yeah, off the right, little banana style, and that was very good. But can I talk about 2 other midfielders?
Please.
I think Gaffy had a lot of the football. Cripper was good with 4 snags. But I reckon Shuey and Sheed, again, very, very good. Have a look at these numbers. 13, that's Shuey. 24 possessions, 5 clearances, 9 inside 50, 6 tackles and 5 15 metres gained. He's close to best on ground for mine. Dom Sheed, 24 possessions, 3 clearances, 4 inside 50s and 3 goals, including a ripper late in the piece to probably seal it. I thought those 2 were very influential in the result.
Jamie Cripps involved in this incident, getting a lot of backlash from fans. The contact below the knees. Stevenson just assuming it was Phillips' kick. So, and I think Phillips put his hand up, so he should be roasted 100%. But that's a 50-metre penalty and a goal that kind of swung a bit more momentum West Coast way. Does that rule remain in 2020?
No, I think, well, it does, but I think they'll adjust it. I think it'll be, like in football, the EPL and, soccer, the studs up rule. If you're allowed to challenge and tackle, but you can't do it studs up. So that's a metaphor, if you like. In AFL, it'll be if that's a dangerous slide, like knees first or something ridiculous, that's a free kick. No questions asked. But ones where you're having a realistic attempt at the football, like with your hands, and you knock, I think that'll be made illegal because I think it's just too much confusion, too much a bit of outcry from viewers of the game. So I think that'll be adjusted for next year.
You got any dramas with this Taylor Adams bump on Luke Shuey? It's late, and I've got no problem with the downfield free kick, and it cost them a goal in the end.
Yeah.
But I think this is a legal way to really hurt someone after the contest. But they have to watch out now. Even that whiplash.
Yeah.
And if you hit the head on the turf, even though there's no head contact, you're in some strife this year.
Yes. Well, if you bump like this,
Just settle down.
totally legal.
Look at the size here.
But then our heads, But then our heads hit. That's where you get. I mean, that's the risk you run if you bump. I don't think there's anything too malicious in this. Yes, he was trying to just give him a little touch up on the way through, but that's football sometimes. I think he'll be okay, considering I think Shuey's okay. So I think that'll be all right.
New Lewis Jetta kick-out watch. This could be a weekly feature on our show.
Boom.
Didn't mind the barrel down the middle.
Loved it.
Honestly, these two are the greatest, they have the greatest arsenal for West Coast, these kick-out, Lewis Jetta, Shannon Hearn. I'd love that they're on our team.
And that being able to just dart out of the square just as you like and gain an extra 10 or 15 to be able to get over a zone or over a group of players, love
Can
it.
only help us, Benny.
Absolutely.
My player of the day, mate, we're going to go Mark Hutchings, back with the flight. I honestly thought Jack Darling was going
Yeah.
to send him into
Trouble.
next week. Maybe Jack saw him late and went, don't mind Hutchie, you're not going to run through him this time. But you got a different player of the day.
Well, player of the day for me was Liam Ryan, involving Darling again. How about this one? Yowie goes long, just misses, but Liam Ryan has the presence of mind to tap it back. Totally fair, totally legal, totally inside. That's not a goal or a point. Taps it back and Jack finishes off. That's an amazing awareness of what's going on. To know Jack's there, to have the presence of mind, not to jump into the goalpost, all those things. Little volleyball set up there for Jack and puts it through. Brilliant stuff.
Lovely to watch. It's time for Kennard's Roast of the Round. No need to wait any longer. Let's get into it. Mason Cox, don't think he knew what a banana was until about 10 seconds before this kick. That's a genuine shank. Spoke about it earlier. Stevenson and Cox just sputting it up here.
Mason Cox, can you tell me what this is? This
Arrogance.
But what about the finger as well, early?
Oh, he loves the finger. He's a bit
And
too
a
much finger.
little bit of lip, upturned lip,
Well, it's not working for him, clearly. 3 straight. My check mark, I love this one. Shuey, the high fend off to Shuey. I think Shuey felt bad, so in the end he went, you know what, mate, didn't deserve this kick. You can have it straight back.
JK getting a hanger taken on him. It's always a roast here at Review. But then tried to return the favour on Mason Cox. Didn't quite go to plan. Redden, what was going on here? He's 20 metres out, not really an angle to speak of.
I knew this would irk you.
Chips it back to 40 out, and Gov misses. Like, what is... Just have a shot, mate.
Pies fan dropping the mark here in the stands. That's the only chance you get for the game, but you've spilled that one. How about a bit of tunnel ball here from Jordan Roughhead? That's embarrassing, out of play. We'll get this one. Shuey plays for the high free kick, doesn't get it, rides the boundary. Then Maynard comes in, just gets stuck into him, and then Shuey throws the ball into his head. How's the catch from the boundary umpire? That's just brilliant play all round, but I'll roast all three of you.
Mark Waugh at second slip. Redden flying the flag. We like the guy supporting. What sort of a move is this?
Never seen that one.
Never seen this plan of attack. I don't know. I question the validity of it as well. Ryan and Petruccelli just getting in each other's way. That's just young fellas being silly.
That was a bit awkward. Lewis Jetta with one of the most blatant throws you've ever seen on a football field. Nathan Vardy nominating himself for the ruck and going, you know what, not keen for that. I'm going to get off the ground.
Oscar Allen, is it a roast? I mean, it's hard. I'm roasting the Collingwood players around Darcy Moore for not telling them that Oscar Allen's coming from the clouds to tackle him. So that's their fault, not Darcy Moore's fault.
That'll work. We're going to go around the grounds now, of course. Credit to Essendon for notching their first ever victory. Surprising it hasn't come sooner with some of the elite tactics they got. Let's just run the old Swiss cheese play. Yeah, a good one, boys. That works 24/7.
And you know what did? They finished off very strongly with a sneak attack of sorts, only playing 17 players, 24 points up.
Arrogance.
In the fourth quarter.
Just cue in the rack, Benny.
Put it in the rack and pull one of the players off, run with 17. They'll never suspect it.
What about Sydney, the Carlton game? Gee, this is weird. Another weird move going out here. Thought it was going to be a pole driver, then a suplex in the end. Just, carry your mate down the field for a bit.
Did we get a winner?
Yeah, of course we did. These two Essendon players running off the field. Have a look at these two. Do they even know where the ball is? That is one of the more embarrassing things you've ever seen on a footy field.
That one last week.
I don't care. Should win every week.